A very good morning and a warm welcome to one and all present here. Mathematics is not a subject, it is a world of calculations which can add good deeds, subtract your worries, multiply happiness, and divide zero solutions to make them infinitely many. I feel maths the way I feel my emotions because mathematics is not a game of numbers but a whole life to me. Your host for the day, Miss Kristen and Miss Subhashini. On behalf of San Academy Group of Schools, I would like to invite our respected guest of honor of the day, Mr. A.T.B.Bose. Welcome, sir. Our principal, and all our parents and teachers to this informative session which we are about to listen to. I thank our management for initiating this opportunity to enlighten us on the topic math phobia and insight. Math phobia may be a feeling of tension, apprehension, or fear that interferes with math performance. As it is well known, there is a triangle: the teacher, the student, and the parent for the success of education. The role of each is important to eradicate math phobia from students. Let us all find a solution with Mr. A.T.B. Bose. Over to Ms. Subhashini.
Thank you, Kristen. Mathematics is not about numbers, equations, computations, or algorithms. It is about understanding. Mathematics is necessary skill that people use throughout their lives, such as when they travel, use money, or keep track of time. Therefore, mathematics is an important skill to learn at school. Unfortunately, many children and adults feel stressed and anxious when they have to do maths. People who experience feeling of stress when faced with math related situations may be experiencing what is called math anxiety. Math anxiety affects many people and is related to poor maths ability in school and later during adulthood. Because math anxiety affects many people and is related to poor math skills, it is important to understand when and how math anxiety first appears and what is happening in the brain when the people are feeling anxious about math and how to best help people with math anxiety. To discuss about this topic, we have with us well-known personality Mr. A.T.B. Bose, Secretary of Ramanujan Museum and Max Education Center, Chennai. Mr. A.T.B. Bose, who has pursued a civil engineering graduation from the College of Engineering, Guindy, upholds the position of Managing Director to Saturn Wood Private Limited, a company that specializes in modular kitchens, wardrobe, silly beds, cement appliances, and Alcon office equipment. Mr. Bose comes from an esteemed family where his grandfather and father has contributed a lot in setting up and developing a renewed educational institution called PAKP Higher Secondary School. This school is located in Vashamepet, Chennai, with 3,500 students pursuing their education at present. Having been inspired by his grandfather and father, Sir also has promoted a school called Kalaimagal Vidyalaya in 1985. Mr. A.T.B. Bose has been Secretary of Ramanujan Museum and Max Education Center, Chennai since 1993. He is passionate mathematician and a prestigious author of mathematics books like Max H, Real Life Mathematics, Kitscon Math Lab Workbook, etc. Mr. A.T.B. Bose has developed more than 60 math learning instruments and has also conducted more than 250 math workshops all over India for maths teachers. He is also known for his positive and motivational attitude towards social issues by motivating people of North Chennai to demand extension of metro train to Tiruvallur and to convert 158 years old Royapuram railway station into third terminal of Chennai. As he has been constantly active in local and state educational policy, he has been designated as General Secretary of Association of Management of Private Schools. We are very well pleased to welcome you, sir, to this webinar and request you to give guidance and solutions to the students to overcome the problem of math phobia.
Okay, very good morning. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you,
sir.
sir.
Okay, a very good morning. I'm extremely thankful to SAN Academy for inviting me for this session. Uh, now, I think there are students and parents and teachers in this session. Now, maths phobia. Now, what is a maths phobia? It is just a fear. Just move the slide, please. Next slide. It is a fear for mathematics. Now, next slide. And when and how it occurs in children uh, is very difficult. It's not yet been scientifically proved. Math phobia sets in at this particular age. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Now, do you see this picture? And what do you see? It's just a 13-year boy. There is so much fear in his eyes. Next, please. Now look at this boy. He is also 13 years old, but he is climbing Mount Everest. Now look at his face. He's just smiling. Who is he? Next slide, please. He's Jordan Romero. He climbed Mount Everest without any fear. Now, how was this possible? Next slide, please. Now look at this child. The child is climbing a wall now using different types of steps and grips. Now there is a choice for him. He can go straight up. He can move diagonally towards left or towards right, or whichever way you want, he can do it. So that is the way of training has to be given for to remove fear. That means there must be so much of choice for the child to learn. We should not make them do it, okay, do it this way, because children are naturally explorer. Now, just for instance, now parents are there. Now, suppose you analyze the route to their home to school. There'll be many ways to go there. But if you decide this is the safest way for the child to come and walk through the from your house to the school, and you insist the child should walk only on that route, will the child will only follow that route? No, absolutely not. The child may go once or twice or thrice, but the child will be motivated to look for other alternative route. Though it may be difficult or it may be too long to walk, still the child will explore it. Now, that is the natural instinct of the child. Now, when we teach maths, we should not teach them, say, okay, this is the way you follow it. No, you must teach mathematics in different methods. Now, that is the beauty of mathematics. You can arrive at a solution in more than one way. Next slide, please. So, by allowing them to explore mathematics, we should first build their confidence. Now let's see how we'll to build the confidence. Now let us take an example of how Ramanujan, our great mathematician, he developed his confidence. Though he lived about 100 years back in a small town in Kumbakonam, there was no electricity, there is no professors to guide him, but still he is regarded the greatest mathematician of 20th century. Next, please. Next slide. Now, students, now let us start the session with an activity. Next slide. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. Now, using one hand, show me number one. I want you to raise any one hand. It may be left hand or right hand. You show me number one with your finger. Next slide. I hope everybody would have showed this way. Am I right? Okay, good. Next slide, please. Now, using one hand, show me the number four. Come on, I want everybody to show number 4. Okay, next slide, please. Now be honest. I think everybody showed 4 like this only. Is it not? Okay, now try this way. Next slide, please. Just click once. Now just fold your little finger. No, no, just one, don't move. No, no, don't move all the slides, ma. Okay, now just fold your little finger in one hand and just raise. Now what is that number it shows? It again shows 4. Okay, next. Now fold the ring finger and raise. Again still 4. Okay, next. Now so fold the middle finger and then raise. Still it represents 4. Next. Now fold your index finger and raise. Again it is 4. Next slide. Now, when there are so many options, why everybody showed 4 with the thumb folded? Because you have been taught that way. You may say it is easy, but you also say that mathematics is a very tough subject. Now that is the beauty of mathematics. See, with one finger, you can represent number 4 in so many different ways. But sorry, with one hand. Now with two hands, still the number of method you can display is so many. So that is the beauty of the mathematics. To remove math phobia, children, you should learn different method. Keep this activity as your guide. Whenever there is any problem, try to see it differently. Now, I'm showing number 4 with the thumb folded may be easier, but life is not going to be that easier. You have to learn different methods. Mere scoring marks by solving the problem in an easier method is not going to help you, maybe help you to score marks, but it will not take you further because now it is such a competitive world. You have to be totally different. You have to think different. Next, please. Next, open the slides, man. Open it up. Open it up. See, no. Now look here. A 4 can be written as 0 plus 4, 1 plus 3, 2 plus 2, 3 plus 1, and 0 plus 4 in 5 different methods. When 4 can be written in 5 different methods, what about 5? In how many different methods we can write 5? You just write and write out, or using your fingers, 5 fingers, you try it out. You can post the answer in the chat box. Okay, now this is what Ramanujan has he. Okay, when I can write 4 in 5 different methods, how about 5? How about 6? How about 7? The greatness of Ramanujan is he finally discovered a formula, an equation by which if you substitute the natural number, you will get to know in how many different ways you can do it. Next slide is. Okay, click. Now, do you know how the AT mission work? It works on this simple mathematics discovery made by Ramanujan. Now, he discovered that 4 can be written in 5 different ways. Now, suppose you wanted to draw 5,000 rupees from the AT machine. Once you say 5,000 rupees, the ATM will first analyze what currency you are asking for. Of course, in India, it is only rupees. Now, suppose it is a multi-currency machine. It can give dollars, it can give yen, or it can give any other countries money also, or dirhams. So it will first identify what currency. And then it will ask what are the denominations available in that country. Say, for instance, now you take for rupees. You have 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 50 rupees, then 100, 200, 500. We don't have 1,000 now, 2,000. So you are asking for an amount of 5,000. Now that 5,000, it first will find in how many different ways this 5,000 can be utilized using Ramanujan's formula. And then it will remove all those combinations where you don't have these denominations of 2,000. Now, if there is 1,000, no, we don't have 1,000. It will remove it. If there is 10,000, it will remove it. So it will zero down to only 2,000, then 500, 200, 100, like that. And then it will check what is the currency available in the ATM machine. It may not have all the currencies. So it will remove all those combinations where you have rupees, it is not available in the ATM machine. Now, with the remaining combination, it will pick and choose any combination and give the cash. Now look at a simple mathematics discovery made by fingers. Now it has been useful for operating an ATM machine. So that is the beauty of mathematics. If you start knowing all these facts, get to know more about how maths is applied. Of course, maths is not directly applied. Okay, if you know how maths works, then you will have interest in maths. Once you have interest in maths, the math phobia, even if it is there, it will get evaded. Next, please. Now tell me, what is 0 divided by 0? Give your answer in a chat box. Now, Subhashini, or can you tell me what is the answer they have given?
Yes, sir.
It's zero only.
So, all of you have said 0? All of them?
Zero, sir.
Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Now, division by itself is a property of division. You know what is it that say there is a property of division by dividing itself? Next slide, please. It says when any number is divided by the number itself, we always get 1 as the quotient. You all agree? 5 divided by 5 is 1. 32 divided by
Yes.
32 is 1. 5,000 divided by 5,000 is 1. Now that is the property of division. You would have learned it. Now next slide, please. Now what is 0? What number is 0? Any
It
answer?
represents nothing. There is nothing. Zero
No,
is
no,
does
no.
not have value.
No. What number is 0? You have natural numbers, whole
Whole number.
numbers, integers, rational numbers, complex numbers. No, this is a whole number.
Whole number.
That means it is a number. So when number is divided by number, what should be the answer? Next slide, please.
It should be one.
When you divide a number by number, the answer must be 1, because that is a property the children have learned. Students, you have learned it. Then how did you say it is 0? Then which is correct? Students,
But
any
zero
response?
does not have any value, no, sir.
I'm sorry, 0 doesn't mean nothing. 0 means absence of things to count. There are no
Yeah.
things to count. That is 0.
Yeah.
It is not nothing. Now, children, I hope you have understood. Now, again, this was first discovered by Ramanujan only. When his teacher taught him that any number divided by that number is zero, Ramanujan immediately stood up and asked, "Sir, what if zero is divided by zero? Is it also one?" The teacher said, "No, Ramanujan, it is not one, it is zero." He again argued, "Why, sir? Zero is a number, and when you divide by another number, it is one." No, he said, "No, sir, zero is a special number." Now, still, I find in many textbooks, they give zero as zero, zero divided by zero as only zero, and teachers also just follow the textbook. Now, next slide, please. Next slide. Move. 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 Now, this is the answer given by Ramanujan. He said 0 divided by 0 is 0, 0 divided by 0 is 1, 0 divided by 0 is 5, 0 divided by 0 equal to 24, or any number. Any number can be the answer for the quotient, can be the quotient for 0 divided by 0. Now, generally, it is a belief that you can arrive at a solution in a mathematics in any method, any different method, but you can't have that different answers. But here, for one question, there are so many answers are there. The teacher himself was surprised. Then he said, "Ramanujan, can you prove it?" Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Now, we teach children, students, you must have learned that to check whether your answer is correct, you cross multiply and check. Now here 0 divided by 0 equal to 0, that is what you said. So the divisor is 0, the quotient is 0, you multiply both, you get 0. So your answer is correct. Now next please. Now Ramanujan said 0 by 0 equal to 1. Again he checked 0 into 1 cross multiply is 0.
Zero.
So that means the answer 1 is also correct. Next slide please. He also said 0 by 0 equal to 5. Again 0 into 5 is 0. So 5 is also correct. Next slide please. Now 0 by 0 equal to 24. Again cross multiply, it is 0. That is the special property of 0. This is the only main equation where you will get different answers, not one answer. You will get so many different answers. So that is the beauty of mathematics. If you start enjoying this, then you will start having a liking for mathematics. The maths phobia will be moving out of your mind. Next, please. Another important topic that Ramanujan, but his very first chapter was on magic squares. I think many of you know what is a magic square. Now let us start building a 3 by 3 magic square. Next slide, please. I think most of you know how to do it. Now let's say we are going to build a 3 by 3 magic square, starting from number 5. Now write that starting number in the middle box of the first row. Now the rules are very simple. From that number, you have to move diagonally upwards. If there is no box, you come right down to the bottom box. Then add one more. So from 5, we are moving diagonally, then we are coming down and we are writing 6. Okay, next slide, please. Now again, from 6, we have to move diagonally, but there are no other boxes there. So what we do is, we have to turn left. The rule is go diagonal. If there is no box, come down. Then again go diagonal. If there is no other box and everything, and there is nothing down, turn left and go to the left hand. Then add one more. And then from 7, I have to move diagonally. but number there is already that box is filled with 5. You can't go there. So I come down. So I write 6. Now I have to move diagonal. There is a box. Next slide, please. I move, I write 9. Then again move diagonal, I write 10. Next slide, please. Now from 10, if I move diagonally and come down or turn left, there are no boxes. So there is another rule which says when there is, you move diagonally, when you come down or turn left, there are no boxes. Step, come down one step. And then again move diagonally. If you come down, there is no boxes, so you're turning left. So you write 12 there. Next is, again move diagonally, come down, put 30 here. So now your magic square is complete. Now what is the beauty of the magic square? Next slide, please. If you add up the first row, 12 plus 5 plus 10, what you get? You get 27. Second row,
27.
7 plus 9 plus 11 is 27.
26.
Third row, again 27. Again, if you column wise, vertically, you just add, it is all 27. This is what we call as a magic square. Once you know the rule, you can build 5 by 5, 7 by 7, 9 by 9, 11 by 11, or any magic square, which is an odd number. The number of squares in the first row is odd. It is not even. So the simple rule is you start the number right at the middle, move diagonally up. When there is no square, come down to the last square. Then again move diagonally. If there is nothing there, uh, turn left to the left end, move up. If it is already filled up, come down and then move diagonally. You try with 3 by 3, then you try with 5 by 5, then you can make any magic square of however big it may be. It may be even 99 by 99. The method is the same. Now, students, have you understood? Just put your answer in the chat box, please. Christian, what did they say?
Division by zero concept is very interesting, sir.
Hmm.
So a student has said that.
Then have they understood magic square 3 by 3?
Yes, yes, they have understood, sir. So Harani,
Okay.
Sarathi, and Krishna, Kishore, they are saying yes, sir.
Okay, let's move to the next slide, please. Okay, the beauty is not only horizontal and vertical, diagonal also, if you check, it is one and the same. Now, children, now instead of counting or adding the row wise or column wise or diagonally to find what is the total sum, there is a simple method to identify the total. Can anybody tell me how to find the total without adding? Has anybody answered?
No, sir, not yet.
Got it.
Instead of addition, you have to do multiplication. That is the clue. அந்த கண்ணாடி இருக்குல்ல அதை எடுத்துட்டு அங்கே போகணும்னு சொல்கிறேன், அதை கழட்டிடலாம். Okay, I'll tell you. Now, what is your sum? It is 27. How many rows you have? Only 3 rows are there. So your 3 is the multiplier. And this, what is the center number? 9. 9 multiplied by 3 is 27. Now, if you build up 5 by 5, you have 5 squares in the row, first row. So whatever the center number, you multiply by 5, you will get the total. Okay. Now let's move to the next one. Yes, please. Now that is the rule for
3 into 3.
odd number of squares in a row. But if you have even numbers, you have 4 by 4. So again, I'm starting with 1 in the left corner, then to move on to 2, 3, 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm just writing it in a sequence. So you just write it in a sequence. And then you make 2 diagonals. That means you are not going to consider those numbers, that is 1, 6, 11, and 16, 4, 7, 10, and 13. You are not going to consider. You're going to consider only the remaining numbers where I've shaded green. So
Oh,
leave those numbers as it is. Next slide, please. Now what I'm giving it the reference, what is there. Now what I'm saying is, you have 1 and 16 here. I'm swapping them. I'm bringing 1 to the down and 16 to the above. Simple rule. You understood the things. Next slide. Then what I'm doing is,
behind 30.
I'm moving 13 up and bringing down 4. The corners, I'm just swapping the numbers. Next slide, please. Then the inside, you have 2 numbers diagonally. That you have 11 and 6. I'm swapping them. Next slide. Then 10 and 7 are swapped. Now your magic square is complete. Next slide. You add up the first row, second row, third row, fourth row. The total is 34. Is it okay? Now next slide. Again vertically, still it is 34. The next slide. All the central numbers, if you add, now you can constitute a magic square in your monthly calendar. You can take a 4 by 4 form of it, you check it up. Now you can start filling them. Just remember the rule. Instead of starting from number 1, you can start from any number, maybe 5, 10, 16, then you consecutively write the numbers, cross the diagonals, leave the other numbers, then only swap the numbers which are written diagonally. That's simple rule. Next slide, please. But Ramanujan's very first chapter, I told it is on magic square. He made a super magic square. Now, what I told you about 3 by 3 and 4 by 4, it is quite common. Anybody can do it. But what Ramanujan did is totally different. Next slide is. He formed a magic square with his date of birth. His date of birth is 22/12/1887. He split that 1887 as 1887, and then he built the square. Now, if you understand the pattern, maths is nothing but a pattern. You'll be able to create your own birthday magic square. Now, whenever you have a birthday function at your family or a marriage function, in the invitation itself, you can build a date magic square. I think even schools, teachers also, whenever they have any function, they can build the magic square. So that will stimulate interest in students. Now, how to do it? On the top row, you write your birthday. Now, let's say now today. Now, today is 4. So you write 4, then write the month as 12. The year is 2021. So you write 20 and 21. Next slide, please. Then you add the 2 corners. Then partition them into 2 different numbers. Now look here, birthday of Ramanujan, 22 and 87. If you add, you get 109. He has split that 109 into 86 plus 23. Again, it is 109. That's all. Next slide. Then you add the middle two numbers. Split that sum into two and write it in the corners. Next slide, please. Then you add these two, split it and write here. Next. Then you add these two, split it and write here. And the next is you add the diagonals, you rotate it and write it here, whichever number you wanted it. Now here you have to be very careful. Now if you see in Ramanujan's magic square, birthday magic square, no number is repeated. Now sometimes if you try, the number will repeat. Okay, it's okay. You try with the, even if the number repeats, it's okay. But later you must start building a magic square where the numbers doesn't repeat. Next, please. Again, the other corner, rotate it, and your date magic square is ready. Any doubt, please? Any doubt?
No, sir.
There's a small doubt from student Purnima Rakshita, sir.
Okay.
So she says 0 divided by any number is not the sum, but she's getting little confused on that part, what you said, sir.
No, where is the question of sum? It comes 0 divided by 0. 0 is the dividend on the top above the line, and the bottom you have a divisor. Now let's say 6 divided by 2. Now what will be your quotient? Your quotient will be 3. 6 divided by 2 equal to 3. Now generally in division, you would have learned how to check whether your answer is correct or not. So what you do is you cross multiply. Here we say cross multiplication. You multiply the divisor with the quotient. If the answer is your dividend, but then the division problem, what you solved is correct. Is it not? So 6 divided by 2 equal to 3. To check whether the answer 3 is correct, you multiply 2 into 3, you get 6. So that means your answer is correct. Here 0 divided by 0 equal to 0. You cross multiply 0 into 0 is 0. You know, in multiplication, 0 multiplied by 0 is 0. So your answer is correct. 0 as quotient is correct. Now 0 divided by 1. Now check whether it is right. 0 into 1, 1. Any number multiplied by 0 is only 0. That is another property of a multiplication. So again, the answer is coming 0 equal to 0. So like that, you try any number with 0 divided by 0 and you have an answer anything. You cross multiply and check. Okay. Okay, next slide, please. Now, another great discovery of Ramanujan is called nested roots. Now, everything Ramanujan discovered is in his school days only. When you start to divide a number by a number, he discovered that 0 by 0 can be, a quotient can be any number. Now, when he was taught that 4 teach the numbers, he splitted the number 4 into so many different methods, and he started exploring other numbers also. He discovered that another branch of mathematics called partition theory. As I told you, ATM machine works on partition theory discovered by Ramanujan. Now, he was not a graduate. He failed this in a FA exam. Your FA is something like your PUC or your plus 2. Because not he is not good. His concentration was only in mathematics. So he didn't write other exams properly. So he failed. Scholarship was withdrawn. So he had to go to work. He started working as a clerk in Madras Port Trust for a very meager salary of 25 pounds those days. But still, his interest in mathematics was so deep. Now, later, when Robert Kanigal discovered, not Robert Kanigal, when when his mentor discovered him in UK, Mm, he said he should be. He wrote to Francis Williams, the chairman of the Port Trust. He said, "Come on, there's a genius in mathematics working under you as a clerk. Enroll him in the Madras Library and in Mathematical Society, and subscribe a journal of mathematics to him." But when he entered, he was the only person who was not a graduate. His mentor was Professor G.H. Hardy. Now, Hardy only helped him like this. But he entered, nobody regarded him as a mathematician because he's just an FA failed. He has not even graduated. Now, to prove that he is also a mathematician, next slide, please. In one of his that journal, he gave this problem. Come on, move, please. He wrote this problem that x equal to root of 1 plus 2 and then multiply by root of 1 plus 3, multiply by root of 1 plus 4, multiply by root of 1 plus 5, multiply by root of 1 plus, it continues to infinity. So he said, come on, solve it, find x. Now everybody was puzzled. How could it be possible? To solve it, you have to first find the root of 1 plus infinity and then root of 1 plus infinity minus 1. You have to come backward and try to solve it. Nobody could solve it. They said this man is trying to fool us. There is no solution. Next slide. But when he said the answer is only 3, everybody was puzzled. And he said, I discovered this nested root when my teacher taught me how to find the square root of a number. Next, move please. When he was taught that root of 4 is 2, root of 9 is 3, root of 16 is 4, root of 25 is 3, what he did is he started thinking differently. Now, students, you have to think differently. Remember how 4 can be shown. Instead of writing root 9 equal to 3, he wrote 3 equal to root 9. Next slide, please. He wrote 3 equal to root 9. Then whatever simple arithmetic operations which was taught in school, he wrote. Now, what is 9? We will say it is 9. He said 9 is 1 plus 8. So, next slide. Move, please. He wrote root of 1 plus 8. Now, root of 1 plus 8 is equal to root of 9 only, and that is 3. Then he thought, what is 8? 8 is 2 into 4. He multiplied it. And next, move, please. He said 1 plus 2 into 4. 4 plus 2 is 8. You know the order of operation BODMAS. First multiply. 4 plus 2 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. Again, the same answer. But look how differently he thought. Then he thought, what is 1? He put the bracket as 1 plus 2. And then 4 is what? Root of 16. So operation means first find the root 4 and then add, multiply. You will get the same 9. Now simple. Next. Then he wrote 16 as 1 plus 15. Now students, now tell me, what will be his next step? What will be his next step? Any idea? Has anybody answered?
15 can be represented as 3 into 5
Yeah, good.
or
Move the
16
slide.
minus 1. 16 minus 1.
No, you can write 16, but this is the answer is 3 into 5. Yes, move the slide. Then what is the next step? Move. Root 5 into 3 is
5.
1 plus 5 to root 5.
Yeah.
Now, children, you continue this. You can go on continuing the equation. Will go on extending. That is the beauty of mathematics, and that is the greatness of Ramanujan. He didn't stop here. He tried for 4. Now 4 is root of 16. Then he started expanding it. And finally, he derived a general formula to find the root of any natural number. Okay, next please. Now students, now learning mathematics is like eating in a buffet. Now if the food is a fixed menu there, you don't have choice. Now if you look at the mathematics like that as a fixed menu, then you will not enjoy mathematics, you will enter into math phobia. Now it is, think of a buffet. In buffet, first you can taste everything. That means there are different methods to solve a problem. Means you can try everything. Then finally, what you do when you eat, you decide to eat what you want only. First you try everything, then eat. So in mathematics, you try all possibility and then solve the problem in whichever method you think it is comfortable to you. But why you need to try everything? Because in real life, mathematics problem will come in different ways. You have to solve that in a different way. Unless you know different methods, you will not able to solve it. If you know only one or two methods, that will help you only into score marks in the exams. But that will not help you to score high marks in your career, because career is very, very challenging. You have to think differently. You have to solve any problem by applying your mind differently. Now that is possible. That knowledge can be gained only in mathematics. Next slide, please. Now just see this. I think you would have seen it. Now see this video. Play the video, ma. The video is not playing, Amma. Okay, if it's not playing, I think if you go to the YouTube and see a women's cricket match between India and England, in one of the things there was a stunning catch, but taken by our women cricketer. Actually, the ball was going to 6. She stopped the ball. You must have seen in many of the men's cricket, but it was very rare in women's cricket, and that too in India. And she just blocked the ball before crossing the lane, threw the ball up, and then from there, outside the line, she dived in and caught the ball. Now, how this was possible? Because she loved the playing cricket. So she started practicing all these things. Why, when men can do, why not I can't do? So that is the attitude. So if you have such an attitude that there are so many things to learn in mathematics, and there are so many different methods to arrive at a solution, you will definitely earn it. Now, as I told you, you are natural explorer. Now, if you go to your school and home only in one way, when that road is blocked for some reason or other things, you will be stuck. Unless you know there are other roads to lead to your school, you'll not go to school or come back home from the school or from any place. So, like mathematics, every real life you will have different opportunities, different ways to do it. So understand this, enjoy mathematics. Next slide, please. And I want you to read this book, The Man Who Knew Infinity, written by Robert Carnegie. Now, there is no written biography of Ramanujan in India. It is very unfortunate. Well, there was only one Tamil book, இது ரஹமைன்னு சொல்லி ஒருத்தர் தமிழ்ல எழுதியிருந்தார். அது ஒன்று தான் இருந்தது. One lady called Barbara, USல, when they were celebrating a 100th birthday of Ramanujan, she was wanted to read his book. Nothing was available, so he engaged Robert Canigal. He came to India. He visited. We have a museum. He came to there, everybody, and finally, he wrote a book. The title, "The Man Who Knew Infinity." Every student, even parent or even teacher, should read this book. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, thank you, students. Thank you, parents. I want your honest feedback. It may be positive or negative.
There is a question which rose up from one of the students, sir.
Yes.
So the question is, what is the root of a number? So this is a question from one of our student.
See, look here. Uh, you have a square number. You know what is a square number? The root of a square number is always a whole number. But the root of not a square number means it may be a decimal number only. So there is so many things which application will be there for the finding the square root. Say for instance, Pythagoras theorem. If it is just 3, 4, and 5, you can easily find it. Now suppose if the numbers are not whole numbers, it may be fractional decimal numbers. To find the hypotenuse, you have to square the two numbers, add and find the square root. So the application is there. So there will be a lot of application of mathematics one way or the other. But unfortunately, there are much easier method in our country. இப்போ தமிழ்லேயே எடுத்துக்கிட்டிங்கன்னா போதையனார்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு பாடல் எழுதியிருக்காரு. அந்த பாடல் பிரகாரம் ஹவு டு ஃபைண்ட் த ஹைபோட்டனஸ் ஆஃப் அ ரைட் ட்ரையாங்கிள் இருக்கு அவர் கொடுத்துருக்காரு. இப்போ சின்ன எக்ஸாம்பிள் எடுத்துக்கோம். இப்போ 6 பேஸு ஹைட் 8ன்னு வச்சுக்கோம். Now using Pythagoras theorem, we square the 6, 36, we square 8, 64. Now 36 plus 64 is 100. Again, we find the square root to find the hypotenuse, and it is 10. Now his method, he says, is, now suppose the base is 8, let's say the base is 8 and the height is 6. He says, from the base, subtract 1/8, then add half of the height. Now 8 is the base. If you subtract 1/8, 1/8 is 1, so it becomes 7. 8 minus 1/8 is 8 by 8 is 7. Now height is 6, half is 3. Now 7 plus 3 is 10. Your hypotenuse. There is no squaring and there is no finding the square root. So a lot of treasure is there in our country which we are not learning, which are not doing it. So maths is a very, very deep, interested subject. It can't be just answered for each and everything in one session.
It was an excellent explanation, sir, how to easily find the side of the hypotenuse. And the magic square concept was very helpful. That is, people, by seeing the magic square, they'll get confused. They'll not know how to go about it. But you easily gave the explanation of how to solve the magic square 3 into 3 as well as 4 into 4. So, hope this 45 minutes, I think, is not. Absolutely enough for the students. We can learn more and more if we have more of time. Is it right, Kristen?
Definitely, Subhashni ma'am, I agree with you. And there's another question raised, sir. So, is that true? The child should have strong language to understand maths. So, in order to understand maths, even the child should have a strong bond over English. Is that true, sir? Or any other language in that case?
Maths doesn't need language at all. In fact, when I have workshops for teachers, I tell them, don't give word problems in English. If at all you give word problems in English, explain them in their mother tongue. Because mathematics is situation oriented. in real life situation, facts only is going to come to me. Why should language play a place there? It is not required. You have to know only the terminology through language. Once you know the terminology, and once you know the situation can be told to a person in any language. Now, suppose you face a problem. You learned congruency. You learn it as all AAA, SSA, that these are sheer nonsense. But if you go to the farmer field, and if the land has to be divided into, the way among his sons, and if you want to find whether they are equal or whether they are but two lands of different shape or congruent, only application is there. Their language is not going to be there. So language is not important for mathematics. But என்னும் எழுத்தும் கண்ணென தகுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. Both are very important. But language may differ from place to place, from country to country. But mathematics will be the universal. It's not going to be whether you study maths in Tamil Nadu or Karnataka or Delhi or Zimbabwe or USA, anywhere, China, it is one and the same. So that means it is beyond language.
Thank you, sir. Subhashini ma'am, is there any other questions you would like to ask?
Ramanujan, only one question. Ramanujan is a born genius. Do you agree, sir?
See, actually, when people ask Ramanujan, how did you discover this? அவருக்கு தெய்வ பக்தி ஜாஸ்தி. இது அவங்க பிறந்தது வந்து ஈரோடு. இங்கே நாமக்கல்ல இது நாமகிரி தாயார்னு சொல்லி ஸ்கூல் இருக்கு, இது கோயில் இருக்கு. அந்த அம்மாவை தான் கும்பிடுவார், நாமகிரி தாயை தான் கும்பிடுவார். எனக்கு எல்லாமே நாமகிரி தாயா தான் எனக்கு சொன்னாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி அவர் சொல்லுவார். ஆனால் இந்த ப்ரூஸ் பெனட்ன்ற ஒரு ப்ரொஃபஸர், இலினாய்ஸ் இந்த ப்ரொஃபஸர், ராமானுஜன் 3500 தியரத்தை 11 வருஷத்தில் கண்டுபிடிச்சாரு. ஆனால் அதை சால்வ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு வந்து ப்ரூஸ் பெனட்டுக்கு வந்து 22 years வித் த ஹெல்ப் ஆஃப் கம்ப்யூட்டர் ஆச்சு. அவர் என்ன சொல்கிறாருன்னா, நோ, அவர் ராமானுஜன் சொல்கிறாரு, he is a genius. Whether he is a born genius or acquired genius, that is immaterial. Without anything, he acquired knowledge. Purely by ஒரு இதை டீச் பண்ணோன்னே he went deep into it. அதை எப்படிலாம் பயன்படுத்தலாம், அதான் எக்ஸாம்பிள் கொடுத்தேன். இது மல்டிப்ளிகேஷனு, அடிஷனு, ஸ்கொயர் ரூட் கண்டுபிடிச்சோன்னே ஒவ்வொன்றுக்கும் ஒரு தியரம். அந்த மாதிரி ஒவ்வொன்றையும் படிக்க அதை டீப் தாட்னால திங்க் பண்ணி அவர் டெவலப் பண்ணிக்கிட்டார். வழியே எவ்ரிபடி இஸ் பார்ன் ஜீனியஸ் தான். எல்லாருக்குமே அந்த ஸ்கில் இருக்குது. யார் அதை பயன்படுத்துகிறாங்களோ அவங்க தான் எக்ஸல் பண்ண போகிறாங்க.
Yes, thank you, sir.
So, as Subhashini ma'am was sharing with us, so many of them like that cube thing what you said, sir. So if all of the students are saying that they love the magic square. So thank you, sir, so much. And now I call upon our principal, Ms. Padmapriya, to give in a few words about the seminar.
Sir, thank you very much. Enlightening. I am your big fan. I think every teacher should be like you. For this generation, you are an inspiration to everybody. That's how I see you. Because in the Madhuri,
Thank
your
you.
perspective to look into small things which has a lot of ways to approach. Especially now math எடுக்கல sir. 10th முடிச்சிட்டு 11th group வந்து math. I was scared because அந்த 100 score பண்ணணும்ன்ற ஒரு stress வந்து I didn't like it. My nature it was. So I gave up. But otherwise, math is a first science in a believe பண்ற person now, because from math, no astronomy. Last week we had a science space science workshop. So they said astronomy is the first science, ma'am. Math came and then physics came. So all those were interrelated subjects and beautifully interlinked. Maybe it's a nature's gift. Like for example, if the Fibonacci number, and that is related to nature and flowers la irukku, nammaloda beauty assessment la irukkuன்றது வந்து how far connected and ancient monuments are connected with math. so many things பார்க்கும்போது ரொம்ப சுவாரஸ்யமான சப்ஜெக்ட் இது. And also games. Nowadays when we play any games, as you said, a cricketer playing with an angle matching to it, or கேரம் போர்டா இருக்கட்டும், அதை கணிக்கிற விதம் கூட நம்மளோட மேத்தமேட்டிக்கல் ஓரியன்ட் தான். ஸோ எஸ்பெஷலி சூடோக்கு நான் வந்து இந்த டிஃபிகல்ட்டி லெவல் பார்ப்பேன். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் மினிமல்ல இருந்து ஆரம்பிக்கலாம், மேக்ஸிமம் வேண்டாம். 3 ஸ்டார் 4 ஸ்டார் இருந்தா கொஞ்சம் மேக்ஸ் வருமா அப்படின்னு திரும்பியும் அழைச்சு போடுறதுக்கு கூட சம்டைம்ஸ் நம்ம தயங்குவோம். ஐயோ எங்கேயோ போய் ஸ்ட்ரக் ஆயிட்டோமே, வாட் இஸ் த ரியல் க்ளூ, how is that people able to solve within few seconds, we are taking a long time. But we should understand, practice, and as you said, it is simpler pakama, probe deep into it, to master it. Maybe people do have a skill in us, but we take it very light, not to explore, not to give that extra push. And thanks a lot. It is a wonderful session, and parents also will know how to approach math now, and kids also, and hopefully our teachers, get an insight from you to beautifully handle math, to deliver it to the students. That's what it's today's session. We are all gifted to have you, sir. It was a wonderful
Thank you so
session.
much, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thank you
much.
very much. Hope this service is a wonderful service for the next generation to come. Elders like you, experienced person like you are gifted to society, and you do a wonderful service to the teaching community. That is to be appreciated, and no, I bow down and give a big salute to such professors who look subject differently. இல்ல இது இப்படிதான் பண்ணணும், and there is a value to it அப்படின்னு சொல்ற people are very very minimal. So thanks a lot, sir. It's a
Ma'am, thank
lifetime
you.
opportunity to meet you and talk to you, really.
Thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Now,
Hope
thanks
you
for
will
your
address our
team.
senior kids once in the real show, in case if in future we could invite you to address, the senior kids also. It will be a good opportunity for them to meet you in person. So we'll create
Thank
that
you.
opportunity.
Okay,
Welcome.
sure, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would like
Yes.
to conclude this informative webinar with a word of thanks. An equation means nothing to me unless it expresses a thought from God.
Eh,
It gives me great immense pleasure and privilege to propose the vote of thanks. On behalf of SAM Group of Schools, I thank our guest of honor of the day, Mr. A.T.B.Bose. Thank you, sir, for this informative session and the time that he has put into this to educate her on something which not only was interesting for our ears but also has a deep place in our heart. I thank the SAM Group of Schools for initiating this knowledgeable session for us during this pandemic and educating us in the right way. Thank you, sir, once again. And I would like to thank my co host of the day, Ms. Subhashini, and myself signing off with you on this informative webinar which we just heard. Thank you, sir, and thank you, parents, and all the teachers who have joined us.